On the Go Wrestling Q&A, I'm here with Ty Awesome, the ECWA Heavyweight Champion. How are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling exhausted after that match for sure, but I'm definitely feeling good after the victory.
So what got you started in the wrestling business?
Power Rangers, believe it or not, man. Growing up watching the Power Rangers, you always look up to, the superheroes, and, I love the punches and kicks and the adrenaline rush. And then when I found professional wrestling, I was like, I can be a Power Ranger. You know what I mean? I can go ahead and do these flips, and I can make people I can invoke a reaction out of people, and it's really cool and it's really humbling. I always wanted to, inspire people, and I guess that's kind of falling into line in that category too.
So where did you get your training at?
I began my training with Mark and Jay Briscoe back in, I believe, 2012 when I was still in high school. They taught me my basics. I did a few things with my friends here and there. I wrestled in high school. Then I transitioned going to Spinebusters Wrestling Academy, where I was trained by Sonny Deeds and Muddy Waters. And I got my training mostly from that point.
So how did you get the name Ty Awesome?
Came up with it myself. I'm always down in myself, so I wanted to come up with a name that I thought would make people think positively of me. I never liked being the guy who was always picked on in high school or in middle school, or I've always been looked down upon because of my size and my stature, but I wanted to let people know that I may be the size that I am. I may be not the muscle-bound freak that you guys are used to, but I'm a guy who will go out every night and put it all out on the line.
So what's been some of your most favorite matches you've been in?
Definitely the Super 8 was one of the best nights of my life when I got to wrestle against Bullet Club member Chase Owens. Definitely one of the best whole-round moments of my life. Just in general, getting that kind of experience is very humbling, and I learned a lot. I got to wrestle Ricky Reyes back at 302 in 2016, which was also a very good experience. The guy knows what he's doing. And when you wrestle these guys who are way better than you don't just learn by communicating with these people, but you learn in the ring with these people, because these people have been in the ring for years and they know what they're doing. And when you get to share a ring with somebody who has been there, done that, you learn. And those are the matches that I always love, is when I go out, and not only do we go out and we enjoy the night and we kill it, but I learn. And that helps me, because when hopefully I progress in this business, I can relay what I've been taught to other students and wrestlers.
So during your wrestling career, have you ever been physically injured due to your wrestling? Do you like wrestling?
I've definitely had a few bumps and bruises. I had Alistair Conrad accidentally powerbomb me on a gym floor, which was kind of fun. It's fun now thinking about it, but it wasn't fun then.
You're welcome.
I'm very fortunate to not have had a moment where I've injured myself, knock on wood. Very, very grateful. We're wrestlers, we all wrestle through pain, so I'm not going to say that I don't wrestle in pain. But, you do what you love, and you stay true to yourself, and that's what you have to do, and that's why I'm the ECWA Heavyweight Champion.
If you got signed to any wrestling federation as of right now, which federation would you prefer?
Oh, man. I ask myself that question too a lot. I really have no preference. I'm grateful just to get the exposure. If any company is looking at me in that point of view, I'm just grateful in general. WWE is where it's at. There's a lot of big name companies too that that are on the rise up also. And there's and nowadays you also got to look at there's promotions that are getting a big name for themselves, and they're not these mainstream companies, like companies like Limitless, Evolve. People don't think about these kind of companies, that they still not necessarily have to sign people, but they're great quality shows that people go out and they're sought after shows to be on. Kind of like ECWA, it's one of those sought after shows to be on. It's been around since 1967. So yeah, man, I really don't have a preference. I'm just very grateful to, if anybody was looking at me in that point of view, I'm just grateful.
So what do you like to do outside your wrestling career?
Sleep. I like to sleep. I work after work, sleep. I like to go to the gym, relax. I'm very to myself. I like to think I'm an introvert and a homebody, but I've been kind of stepping out of that box too a little bit. So I used to be a big video game guy, but I'm not really a video game guy anymore. But I guess I really enjoy listening to music and just kind of finding myself through life.
So if they made a movie about the life of Ty Awesome, what actor could play you and what would the title be?
Oh man, whoever the guy from Kick-Ass is, because I guess I get told I look like him all the time. I guess he was the guy. He was Quicksilver too in the Marvel franchise. So him, that'd be nice.
You're talking about the guy that played Kick-Ass?
Yeah.
I think his name like Aaron Johnson or something.
Something like that, yeah. So either him or Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling would be pretty funny,
I could
Or
see, like,
Matthew McConaughey.
Michael Cera.
That's a good fun, Michael Cera. Yeah, I could definitely see Michael Cera. It would just be, I don't know. I couldn't really give it a name for a movie, They think he's awesome. I don't know. I'm very hard on myself, So, yeah, I don't really know.
So during your wrestling career, have you played the face or have you been healed?
I'm mostly a good guy. I stay true to myself. I believe in doing the right thing all the time. I have portrayed an evil gimmick or a bad guy gimmick also, but that's not me. I really feel like that I touch people in a way that is positive more than a negative way. I really love the connection I have with kids because kids look to me and they're like, hey, this guy's not that big, and they can relate with that. So when I relate with these kids and they look up to me, that's awesome. That's what I love. So
one of your biggest supporters, your dad, Papa Scott, how did you get him to come along in your wrestling journey?
Beats me. I mean, he was never really into the wrestling thing as I grew up. I remember telling him that I was into it, and he was like, well, I don't like it, and he got my older brother out of it, and so when I stayed true to it, he probably was like, oh my gosh, my son likes this ballet stuff, but I ended up telling him, hey, look, I'm really serious about this, and I really wanted to try, because as long as I know that I try and I have a good feel and I believe myself I can do it, I can do it. I feel like that's a Hastings trait. If you envision yourself doing something, you can do it. And I finally convinced my dad. I was like, hey, he's got a friend named Bobby Gannon, lifelong friend. And I said, hey, can you get Bobby to let me meet Mark and Jay Briscoe? And through the grace of God, I was able to get a one-on-one training session with Mark and Jay Briscoe. And I think that kind of opened him up to it a little bit. And then when I actually started putting on shows, he was standoffish at first, but then I think we made a trip to somewhere in Pennsylvania.
Holmesburg.
It was Holmesburg, and he watched me wrestle Adrian Bliss, and anyone who knows Adrian Bliss, he's got like a cross-dressing gimmick. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of funny that the very first match that my dad saw with me live, I was wrestling kind of like that kind of gimmick, but it was really entertaining to him. And he realized that seeing the crowd and stuff, he didn't realize how many people were really into professional wrestling and how many people invest their emotion in it. And I think after he got to see the way that the crowd reacts and the way that I guess I portray myself, I guess he saw a side of me that he never really saw before, and I guess that kind of he made him kind of enjoy it.
So how does it feel to become you start off cruiserweight, now you're like heavyweight main event champion, so how does it feel?
It's definitely a change of pace, and that showed tonight too. You go from these high flying, flashy matches that are typically at the beginning of the show, maybe right after intermission, and I'm wrestling these great contests, not necessarily matches, but I like to call them contests because they're more competitive, and these cruiserweight matches that I have are always tough back and forth and flippy doo dah, and all these like really heavy hitting stuff. And I think having those matches underneath my belt and then moving up to progressing out of that division and still showing that I can have this fight and I don't have to wrestle guys that are just my size, and that I'm an ultimate underdog, but I prove people wrong too. So I think that's what's kind of made me transition into this position, and I've just taken control of it.
So where can the fans follow you at?
You can go onto my Facebook, just search up Ty Awesome, like the page. You can go onto my Instagram at Ty Awesome, and you can go on Twitter at Ty Awesome Pro.
What's your upcoming shows?
Next show is Sunday, February 10th, 1CW.
And if you retired today, what would you like the fans to remember you for?
Never letting somebody get to me to the point to give up. I've always had that, mentality that someone is always going to beat you up over something, but it's only up to you to take control of what you do in your life. I could have taken my whole life of people taking over Ty Awesome Tuesday. I could have let everybody take that in. I could have taken that in and just said, you know what, I'm done. Everyone's making fun of me, I'm done. But I've transitioned myself into the mindset of I gotta prove these people wrong. And when you have to prove these people wrong, it turns on a switch. And once you get in a focus, you have to make these things come true.
This concludes the interview with Ty Awesome. I'd like to thank you for your time.
No problem, man. Thank you.
This will be going up on my Facebook page, Ty Awesome's Facebook page, and Papa Scott's on YouTube. This is On To Go Wrestling Q&A signing out.